everybody. It's Tiara. I am here again with another episode of Generation T, and I'm here with the lovely Hannah Bonnett. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good today. How are you? Thanks for
I
having
know
me.
Hannah is an actress, singer, dancer, all around performer, basically. Let me just say that. And she has been in productions of Legally Blonde. She was actually on the tour. We're going to get a little bit into that in the conversation. And she will be performing as Ivanka Trump in Five the Musical. And she also has so much to talk about. So we're just going to jump right in. So, Hannah, I want to start from the very beginning. When did you know that you wanted to be an actress and become a professional performer?
Oh, sure. So I was a competitive cheerleader for many years. I absolutely did not like performing or singing in front of people. I just liked Celine Dion, and that was enough for me. But I had a best friend growing up, and she was like the singer. And when my cheer career ended, she was like, "You got to do something. You should audition for the musical." And so from there, like the bug bit me, and I had this grand idea that I was going to go to an art school and thankfully my parents were supportive and I got in, and with that and the help of many mentors along the way and many shows and opportunities, I kind of was like, okay, I'll do it. The universe is telling me to do it. I'll do it.
That's awesome. And one thing that I think about, especially with emerging performers, is was there a show that kind of like just was a show that was the first production that you were like, okay, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life?
I I feel like there's so many like little moments, but the first one where I was like, "Oh, I'm a performer. This
Mhm.
is happening to me," was I did a show called A Little Princess, The Little Princess,
Okay.
very similar to Annie. And instead of playing the youthful young role, I played the 60-year-old woman. And something about playing Miss Minchin, a 60-year-old woman, was like, oh, okay, like I like this little performing thing. So yeah, I'd say that role was the awakening of, oh, okay, I could do this. This is awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, and I think there's so many shows out there that people get their start in. I feel like I started doing community theater, so there's so many different productions that come through to these community theaters, and you just never know which one is gonna, bite you and be the bug that helps you to become, what you want to be in theater. And obviously, I want to address the elephant in the room. You were Elle Woods in the national tour of Legally Blonde. That's such an iconic role. Like, I want to know what your experience was of performing on that tour.
Oh, craziness, madness. It's crazy is probably going to be the word for a lot of these things because to this day I still can't believe that I've had the opportunity to do them. And when I look back on like the movie of my life thus far, I just can't help but feel immense gratitude because I never thought these things would happen to me. And
Mhm.
that's kind of Elle. Growing up, I didn't think I was Elle Woods. I told all my friends I was Vivian when I auditioned for Legally Blonde in college. It was the show I could never book. I was like, it's just not the show for me. I'm not meant to do it.
Mm.
Then I booked the tour and my entire life changed. And, I'm touring to different cities almost every single day and meeting tons of people and getting to share that story and also bringing um, Elle to a different light. I got to play Elle a bit differently, and that was really important to me to bring that truth and honesty of myself. So yeah, it was a wild ride with a whole lot of pink, and I met some really amazing people that are still very dear friends to this day, and it changed my life. It's one of the most amazing things to ever happen to me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, obviously, growing up, you watch Legally Blonde the movie, and then you see a production of it, and you're like, oh, this is bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it feels like it's such a big entity. But I feel like I saw a little bit of your production online, and you were so good. So I'm like, I'm totally in awe of like you fulfilling those big shoes, But I think that you did a really good job. And yeah, it was really cool to see. And I know now you're going to be in another show, Five the Musical, which is an off-Broadway musical. This will be parodying Six the Musical that is on Broadway, which is centered on the six wives of King Henry. Except for Five, it's centered on the intimate life of Donald Trump, which is so funny. It's insane already. And from the perspective of his three wives, one mistress, and daughter, Hannah portrays the daughter, Ivanka Trump. I mean, this is just so funny. Hopefully will be another iconic role that we'll talk about in a couple years, like, oh, like she originated this. Okay, cool.
That's
Um,
the hope. I mean, I get to work every day. I get to rehearsal and I'm laughing and wheezing my entire way through our rehearsal process. I work with truly the funniest people in all of New York City, and we're creating something so crazy, word of the day,
yeah.
um, that I just can't wait to share it with audiences. If you've never heard of Trump, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
Anybody who can come into this and leave, I believe, with a good laugh. So, and that's what's important these days.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I wanted to know what initially attracted you to audition for the show. How did this kind of come into your lap? Did you specifically want to audition for Ivanka?
It's funny. I talked about the story at rehearsal the other day. I was seeing Renee Rapp. Do you know who Renee Rapp?
Yeah, of course, of course, of course.
Right? My girl. Oof, I love her. I was seeing Renee Rapp in concert and I had to drop some things off at a friend's apartment. And when I was there, he had a pamphlet out on his desk from a concert he had seen
Mm,
about, it wasn't called Five at the time, but he told me the premise of the show. And I was like, wow, that would be so cool to be a part of. I would love to be a part of that. Never once
mm,
auditioned, never had heard about the project before. Then it you know, got out on Actors Access and I was like, oh, this would be really cool to be a part of. And my agent got me an appointment. And at the time, I was moving in and out of the city. So actually, my mom drove me to the audition because she's a saint and I'm from Jersey, so it's not too bad. And so she drove me. And I went upstairs and I auditioned and I left and I went downstairs and she said, well, how'd it go? And I said, it was probably the most fun I've had at an audition in a really
mm.
long time. And that alone was good enough for me. And when I got the call, I laughed because I had originally auditioned for Marla Maples. And then I get the call from my agent saying, oh, hi, you're Ivanka Trump. And I called him back and I was like, I'm pretty sure you're wrong. Like, that's not possible. I didn't even audition. I didn't sing a song or do a side. And he said, no, that's what it is. And the more we do the rehearsal process, I'm like, oh, just the way they've created this character is very in the skill set of what I'm able to bring. And so I'm really glad. But that was kind of my journey to
Yeah.
Ivanka, crazy girl.
Yeah, I know. Oh my gosh, the trajectory, just hearing about it is just crazy because it just started from you kind of finding out about it, not even an audition that came in through your agent, and then it just so happened that you were right for the part. That's so fun. That's so funny too. I think that's
So
great.
strange how this world works out that way.
I
That
know.
the things you speak into I'm very big on manifesting. The things you speak into existence that you really want, they always find their way to you somehow.
Yeah, and obviously this will be a kind of like a heightened version of Ivanka. I'm sure she'll, if she would come to the show, she'll be like, "Is that really me?" But you never know. But she is a well-known figure, and you kind of touched upon this, but I wondered how was the process of like crafting her as a character and not as a, person. She is a person of interest. She's a socialite. She's all of these things, but when a character is in a production, it's a little bit more, sometimes it could be either be subdued or heightened. What was kind of the understanding of how Ivanka was going to be portrayed?
Yeah, it was very clear to us from the beginning that we were going in the six trajectory with these women. So not, I mean, Ivanka is a very classy and poised woman. She's very well educated. She's done a lot for herself, and I'll give her that compliment. But the way that we've portrayed her in this is a little bit more on the trying to find the right words
Yeah.
on the comical
Okay.
sense of her being a daddy's girl to Donald Trump, to kind of growing up spoiled, and so more so creating and crafting that character around a caricature version of her instead of the real version of her. Similar to what the women in Six do.
Mm.
Like Anne Boleyn probably didn't sing Sorry Not Sorry and like Screw All You Other Girls, which that would be iconic if she
Yeah.
did, and we hope for her that she did. But yeah, like my Ivanka is a little bratty and a little bit of a daddy's girl, and that's just been really fun kind of going 180 from who she actually is. But you know, if you know things about Ivanka, there will be plenty of, what do you call them, like Easter eggs
Easter eggs, yeah.
along the way of the show, where if you know anything about politics, or God forbid you've watched the news in the past couple of years, you'll go, "Oh, ha ha ha." Also, ooh, scary. Like,
You'll feel
just
all the
because our lives
emotions.
have been madness since 2020.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And since this is considered like a small show, you know, there's five women involved. How has the rehearsal process been with getting to know each other and knowing each other's characters and how they interact with each other during the show?
The first day, and we started to all kind of see each other read and sing and whatever, because so many of us had auditioned for other parts, and
Wow, okay.
the place where we were like, wow, we truly are perfectly cast exactly where we are. And everyone is just so dang funny that even yesterday I had to like sit and be serious when we were blocking something, and I was laughing and smiling the whole time. And I fear that that's like, I gotta get my
Yeah.
actor face back on, because I just have such a blast with these women that when we get on stage, I know that I'm taken care of first and foremost, because they're such lovely human beings who support one another and support the art that we're making in that room. Um, but yeah, it's just been crazy to see like their version of Melania and their version of Stormy Daniels and Marla Maples and of course Ivana, my mother. It's just amazing, really, really amazing to create something together and to be able to say, "Oh, we originated that," is really cool.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think it'll be a show that anyone can watch, and no matter what side you are in the political spectrum, I think you'll go in with you know, if you have a sense of humor, you'll go in and think, okay, this is what the media perception of these women are, and you know, we can laugh about it and we can learn from it too. I think parodies are a fun way to learn and look at the flip side of something that might be considered serious or taboo. So I think it's such a cool show, and I'm so happy that it's existing now, especially in our current time. And you talked about this since 2020. Lots have changed, lots of changes.
And
For
we all got to laugh about it, you know?
yeah.
We have to stay lighthearted with the craziness that this world has offered all of us.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's so exciting. And also, I know that you've obviously performed in other types of other shows, other productions, but I want to know what is, and this might be a loaded question, but what is your dream role to perform, no matter the stage, Broadway, regional, anything? What would be your dream role?
I I have so many dream shows that I would love to do. I think that I've always wanted to be in six, and getting to do five is living that dream in a way, and that has been absolutely incredible. So I'd love to do six. I would love to do Wicked. Those were shows that is one show I grew up with. But then also in the same breath, there is something so amazing about being able to originate a character. And, I live in New York City now. My dream and my goal that I'm manifesting for myself next is the opportunity to be in a Broadway show.
Mhm.
Would be absolutely incredible. And when that time comes for me, I will be forever grateful. And, I find a lot of the time that it's the things that come into my existence were things I never even thought I was capable of doing. So I don't know. I'd say I'd love to do Wicked. I'd love to do Six. If there's a revival of Hair or Jekyll and Hyde, throw me in.
Oh, hair,
But
hair.
also, I go, okay, if there's an original musical out there, hi,
Yes.
I'm
Oh my
ready.
gosh.
Yeah,
No, now that you mentioned hair, I see it, and now I'm like hair. Now I'm like, we got to get her in hair. Anybody who's watching this, come on.
let's do hair. Let's do hair again. I love doing hair. It was amazing.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting. Well, obviously, this is before the show actually opens. I know you're in rehearsals, previews are coming up. Oh my gosh, it's so exciting. But when does the show officially open, and where can people see it in New York City?
Of course, we open on President's Day, which is perfect since we are singing about a president. We are at Theater 555. We are down off of the Broadways in New York City, and we hope that you'll be able to come and check us out. We run until March 10th. We obviously are all hilarious and cute and funny and talented. I can say that for the other girls in our entire team, the best team around. So honestly, just come out for a really good laugh. And we can't wait to have you there, and we can't wait to see you.
That's exactly what we need, a good laugh. I love it. Well, thank you, Hannah, for talking with me. And I'm so excited for everyone to possibly go and see the show. If you're in the New York City area, go see it, give it its support. It's going to be amazing. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Thanks for having me.